Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The reading from the 5th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 24, the title, The Subterranean Heavenly Planets. I'll do text number 25, we can do 26 tomorrow. Since it's a prose verse, we can't recite this in unison. I'll just read the first line. Yasha nudasya eva ma pita maha kila pare na tu swa pitram yad uta kut tobyam padam diyamanam bhagavat paramiti bhagavat to parate kalu swa pitra. Word for word, please repeat. Yasha, of whom? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anudasyam, the service. Evam, certainly. Asmad, our Pita Maha, grandfather. Kila, indeed. Vare, accepted. Na, not. Tu, but. Swa, own. Pitram, rental property. Yad, which. Uta, certainly. Akuta, Bayam, fearlessness. Kadam, position. Viyamanam, being offered. Bhagavata, then the Supreme Personality Godhead. Param, other. Iti, thus. Bhagavata, by the Supreme Personality Godhead. Uparate, when killed. Kalu, indeed. Sa, Pitari, his own father. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace H.G. Bhuvaneswar Swami Srila Prabhupada. Bali Maharaj said, is this clear? Can everybody hear? Bali Maharaj said, my dear grandfather, my grandfather Prahlad Maharaj is the only person who understood his own self-interest. Upon the death of Prahlad's father, Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nrsimhadev wanted to offer Prahlad his father's kingdom and even wanted to grant him liberation from material bondage. But Prahlad accepted neither liberation and material opulence. He thought are obstacles to devotional service, and therefore such gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead are not his actual mercy. Consequently, instead of accepting the results of karma and gyan, Prahlad Maharaj simply begged the Lord for engagement in his service, begged for engagement in his service of his servant. So we keep that on, you can keep the air cooler on. Is it too loud? It's too hot. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructed that an unenlightened devotee should consider himself a servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. Gopi Bharatu Kamal Yor Das, das, and das. In the Vaishnava philosophy, one should not even become a direct servant. One should not even become a direct servant. Prahlad Maharaj is offering all the blessings of an opulent position in the material world and even liberation of merging into Brahman. But he refused all this. He simply wanted to engage in the service of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Therefore, Bali Maharaj said that because his grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, had rejected the blessings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in terms of material opulence and liberation from material bondage, he truly understands his self-interest. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitamina Bhutale Swayam Rupadaramayam Dante Stapitamsapa Maum Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Chidamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vachani Navaseshara Sunyavadi Paskacha Desatarni Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasa Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today, according to our Vaishnava calendar, is the beginning of Purushottam Mas. So first we'll speak something about this verse, then we'll speak something about Purushottam Mas. Translation once again. Bali Maharaj said, my grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, is the only person who understood his own self-interest. Upon the death of Prahlad's father, Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nrsimhadev wanted to offer Prahlad his father's kingdom. He wanted to grant him liberation from material bondage. But Prahlad accepted neither liberation nor material opulence. He thought our obstacles to devotional service, and therefore such gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are not his actual mercy. Consequently, instead of accepting the results of karma and jnana, Prahlad Maharaj simply begged the Lord for engagement in the service of his servant. Radhanam Sar. Anya Vyastinya Sunyam Gyanakarmana Vitam Anakane Krishnasno Bhakti Uttamam. This is the definition given by Rupa Goswami of pure devotional service. Here it says, Prahlad Maharaj is the only person who understood his own self-interest, and he did not want anything to do with karma and jnana. Prahlad Maharaj simply begged for the Lord for engagement in the service of his servant. So in the purport, 2 times it says, servant of the servant of the servant, and it says it again, servant of Gopi Bharti Kamala Das Das Anudas. This is Lord Chaitanya taught us. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya appeared 500 years ago. He's the Yuga avatar. Krishna comes, the Avatar Yuga, and then 4 ages, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. The Lord incarnates in different colors. Comes as white, red, black, and yellow. And Lord Chaitanya is the golden avatar. But he did not assert himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's called the Chana avatar. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that the Lord is Tri Yuga. It means he only comes in 3 yugas, but actually he comes in 4 yugas. And when Lord Krishna took birth, they were afraid that Kamsa would find out that Krishna was not the son of Mother Sarananda Maharaj. So they secretly had the name-giving ceremony. And Gargacharya also said that this child has been born as in 4 yugas, red, white, black, and yellow. So Lord Chaitanya is the Yuga avatar, but he comes as Bhakta avatar. He comes in the disguise as a devotee. And so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he only gave 8 stanzas. He only wrote 8 stanzas. Although in his childhood he was known as Nimai Pandit. He was a great scholar and a great Pandit, and he could defeat everyone. One day Pandit Vijay came to Navadvip, and he challenged everyone. And Navadvip was the seat of learning at that time, but no one would accept his challenge. And one time he met Lord Chaitanya was sitting with his friends on the bank of the Ganges as Nimai Pandit, and so he requested the Pandit to recite some verses in glorification of the Ganges. So this person, he recited 100 verses in 2 hours like the blowing wind. And then Mahaprabhu said, yes, this is very nice. Your poetry is very good, but I think you made a mistake in one of your verses. And the Pandit was very surprised that how this boy could even remember one verse, because he recited them so fast. But Lord Chaitanya pointed out the mistakes and the flaws in that verse. And then in a dream, Mother Saraswati came to this Pandit and told him that this person, Nimai Pandit, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but you should not reveal this to anyone, or else at this time. And on Digvijay, he surrendered to Lord Chaitanya and became a great Vaishnava poet. So, Das Das, Chunadapi Sunichena, Chorapi Sisna, Amaina Mandena Kirtanya Sadhari. This is the method that is recommended for chanting the holy name of the Lord. They think oneself lower than the blade of grass, more talented than a tree, ready to offer all respects to others, not expect any respect for oneself. So this is what it means to be a servant. Many people in this world say, I know God, but we challenge them. You know God, but it's not possible to know God directly. You have to go through his representative, the pure devotee. It's like if you want to meet the president of India or any country, you can't just go and meet him. You have to go through his secretary. It's via media. So the spiritual master, he's our via media. And Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasada, no. Anyway, so we recite this prayer every morning. What is it? Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasada, Yasya Prasada Narakin Gopi, Tadam Stulam Sasada Astri Sangam, Vande Garoshi Charana Vindam. Without pleasing the spiritual master, no one can please Krishna. Without pleasing, so this is a path that we're taking, the path that we've chosen, pure devotional service. There are indirect paths. Bhagavad Gita describes in the first 6 chapters the indirect paths, and in the last 6 chapters the indirect path. But in the middle 6 chapters, the devotional service is enunciated, whereas as the as the most important of all the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. And the Bhagavad Gita is like a treasure chest. You put a treasure in a chest. It has the bottom and the top. The bottom is jnana, the top is karma, but in the middle is the treasure. And also, Narottam Das says, or Sanatana Goswami says, that devotional service is like an oyster. An oyster has the top and the bottom, but in the middle is a pearl. So jnana and karma are the top and bottom, but the middle is the pearl, or the most valuable thing. So one time, a person heard that Sanatana Goswami had a touchstone. So if you take a touchstone, you can touch it to anything, it turns to gold. So this man was a greedy man. He wanted a touchstone, he wanted to get gold and become wealthy. So he went to Sanatana Goswami and said, "Can you give me that touchstone?" And Sanatana Goswami said, "Well, it's over there in the garbage, in the refuge." So the man got the touchstone and was very happy. So he used it for a while, but then he thought, if this was the most valuable thing, why was he keeping it in the rubbish? So he went back to Sanatana Goswami. He said, "Sanatana Goswami, you give me back that touchstone, I'll give you the most valuable thing." And that is chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So as servants of the Lord, when we come into the temple room, there are 64 items mentioned in nectar devotion, 64 angas of devotional service. So it says when one enters the temple, he should make a sound, and also he should offer obeisances. Now, when we offer obeisances, we should offer obeisances with 2 hands. We have this disease in our movement where people offer obeisances with 1 hand or with no hands. But Nectar Devotion, Hari Bhakti Vilas says obeisances should be done with 2 hands. Shri Shri Gauranitai Krishna Bhavarada Sham. The Nectar Devotion says one of the angas is that one should offer obeisances with 2 hands. And also Hari Bhakti Vilas says if you don't offer obeisances with 2 hands, you lose all your pious credits. So everything we do in devotional service, we should do with great care and attention. It's not a mechanical thing. We should not be a mechanical devotee and offer obeisances carelessly. Either you put your bead bag in your pocket or you hold your bead bag, but both hands should touch the floor. Not 1 hand on the floor or one hand on the cell phone. Or sometimes people have bags and things and they just offer obeisances with their head. So either way, this is not the proper way to do it. 2 hands. And by offering obeisances, we are signifying that we're the servant. We're not the master. Many people come for darshan. They don't know they should offer obeisances. And just like the king, if the king comes, then everybody offer respects to the king. So we should offer respects, especially to the spiritual master and to the devotees. It says, what did Lord Shiva told Parvati, Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Param Devi Tadiyam Samacharam. O Lord Shiva said, Lord Shiva told the goddess Durga, my dear Devi, although the Vedas mention worship of demigods, the worship of Lord Vishnu is topmost and ultimately recommended. However, above the worship of Lord Vishnu is the rendering of service to Vaishnavas, who are related to Lord Vishnu. So, of course, this means we should serve all the Vaishnavas, but at the same time, this also means we should follow in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan, gopis, Nakara boys, and all the eternal servants of the Lord. This is real meaning to this verse. But in the material world, in this movement, when one sees a sannyasi, should immediately offer obeisances. And it says if one doesn't offer obeisances upon seeing a sannyasi, then he should fast for that day. Because we should respect the sannyas order, and they are leaders of our movement. And many of our sannyasis are working very hard, going all over the world, preaching Krishna consciousness, spreading Krishna consciousness, so they deserve all respect and honor. But they never say, I'm God. Once in New Vrindavan, there was some misunderstanding, and the devotees were saying Srila Prabhupada was God. And if you don't chant Shuddhanam, then you can't chant Hare Krishna. But this was speculation. When Srila Prabhupada was in New York, he was talking to the devotees there before initiation, and he said that the Guru is as good as God. Sakshari Chanyasamasa Shastri. What's that? Sakshari Chanyasamasa Shastri. Tatantara Yatadeva Savi. Intu Prabhuya Priya Vitasha. Pandegarochi Charanarvindam. Which means the Guru is the worshipper of God, and God is the worshipable God. So there's a distinction. It's not all one. Like the Mayavadis say, everything's one. We are individual jiva, and we are as the individual jivas, we're servants of the servants of the servant. And that means that also Guru Ashraya, that Rupa Goswami says the first principle in devotional service is one must accept a guru. Without accepting guru, then one cannot advance in devotional service. And one must change his name, get a spiritual name, and accept the bona fide spiritual master. Now this term, Prabhupada uses this term very often, that one must accept a bona fide spiritual master. And that means the spiritual master should be an Uttama Adhikari, but which means he's on the topmost platform. But in the absence of Uttama Adhikari, a Madhyama Adhikari, or even a Kanistha Adhikari can't accept disciples. But the Uttama Adhikari, the Kanistha Adhikari, and Madhyama Adhikari may not be able to give sufficient guidance. But there are different types of gurus. There's the guru that leads the way, and there's the Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. So Diksha Guru is one, but Shiksha Guru is many. So with the permission of your guru, you can also take Shiksha or instructions from someone else. But he must be in our line, in our Sampradaya. Otherwise, it says, Haridas Thakur says, it's an offense to the holy name to go outside and hear from someone who is not in our Sampradaya. This is an offense to the holy name. So if we're not satisfied with your guru, even though he's following strictly and he's a very good devotee, but if he can't give proper instruction, then you can go to someone who's senior and also receive instruction from him. There's no harm in doing that. In this way, we can advance in devotional service. Otherwise, the devotee should always be in a humble state of mind. Shanadapi sinitana Turapi sisana manina mandina kirtanya sadhari. It's the Kanista Bhakta who doesn't know how to respect the devotees. Prabhupada said, if someone's doing puja and a great Vaishnava comes to his door, he can suspend or stop his puja temporarily and receive that Vaishnava. And if a great Vaishnava comes to your house, then you should wash his feet and honor him in a proper way. And Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita also stress this fact of how to respect the Vaishnava, respect the devotee. So this is important that we not become proud. When we come into the material world, as soon as one falls in somehow or other, we come in this material world by our own free will. It is not by Krishna's arrangement, but the living entity, the jiva, has free will. And that free will, we can choose whether we want to serve Krishna or whether we want to we can choose to go to the spiritual world and serve Krishna and go to Vrindavan or in Vaikuntha, or we can choose to come to the material world and try to enjoy or try to be God, be a small God and try to enjoy. But we know there's no real pleasure in this material world. It's only a place of suffering, repeated birth and death. So somehow or other, by our misfortune, we chose to come to the material world and try to enjoy. And nowadays they have so many varieties of ways so people can enjoy. One man heard that he was going to die. So what did he do? This was a television program many years ago. So he spent the last 2 years of his life just getting as much sense gratification as he could. So here it says, Prahlad Maharaj was the only one to know his own self-interest. So our own self-interest means to engage in devotional service, but pure devotional service means free from jnana, free from karma. Advaita Acharya didn't like the fact that Lord Chaitanya was showing him so much respect. So he started to preach Advaita, he started to preach Mayavadi philosophy. And when Lord Chaitanya came to Advaita Acharya, he said to Advaita Acharya, Advaita, please tell me, which is more important, devotional service or jnana or knowledge? And Advaita Acharya said, knowledge, first you have to have knowledge, then you can perform devotional service. And Lord Chaitanya became angry, so angry he started beating him. And then Advaita Acharya's wife came and said, stop, 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 he's an old man, you're going to kill him. So Lord Chaitanya stopped. But Advaita Acharya was very happy because he had achieved his goal to get the lower position, to be the servant of Lord Chaitanya, instead of Lord Chaitanya serving him. So in this way, there are many stories of different devotees. One devotee in South India, his Guru Maharaj told him that you read Bhagavad Gita every day, the whole Bhagavad Gita. So he was reading, but he was illiterate, and he couldn't read the Bhagavad Gita properly. So the other Brahmins were laughing at him. So Mahaprabhu came there and saw this Brahmin. He said, "My dear Brahmin, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, my spiritual master ordered me to read Bhagavad Gita every day, but I'm illiterate, so I'm trying to read it, but I can't pronounce the words properly. I can't read it." Then Lord Chaitanya saw that this man was exhibiting ecstatic symptoms. And so Lord Chaitanya asked him, why are you crying? He was crying. He said, "Because every time I think how Krishna has become the chariot driver of Arjuna, I become overwhelmed." So Mahaprabhu embraced this person and said that you are the real knower of Bhagavad Gita. So the Bhagavad Gita is the ABC of spiritual life, and we should study the Bhagavad Gita and understand the principle of devotional service. If we read Prabhupada's books, we can read Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll never get the misunderstanding that I am that I can become God, or everything is one, or everything is void. This is what Prabhupada came to teach. And when Prabhupada first went to New York, he stayed at Dr. Mishra's ashram. It was a yoga ashram. And Prabhupada gave 2 lectures there. Then Dr. Mishra wouldn't let him speak anymore because he didn't want to hear about devotional service. So he was a Mayavadi. So the Mayavadi's philosophy is very prominent, but Lord Chaitanya came to teach Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. We're simultaneously one and different from the Lord. We are the Jivatma. We cannot be the Supreme. There's Atma and Paramatma. So we are individual souls, and we're tiny, insignificant living entities. The soul, it says the soul is 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. If you take one hair and cut it into 1,000 times and then 1,000 times, that's the size of the soul. So until we realize that we're spirit soul, we still have this false ego. And the Kanista Adhikari may worship the deity, but he may not know how to respect the Vaishnavas. Even some of our pujaris, when the sannyasi would come to ask to do artik, they'd say no. And that was because they didn't understand how to respect the Vaishnavas. But this is Kanista platform. So we shouldn't stay on the Kanista platform. We should try to come to the Madhyam platform, where Madhyam Adhikari may not be conversant in the scripture, or understand the scripture so much, but he preaches to the innocent, he avoids the demons, and he has love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is a position of Madhyam Adhikari. He's a preacher. So the Uttama Adhikari, who's the topmost devotee, he sees everyone with an equal vision. He sees everyone as serving Krishna. And because he sees everyone as serving Krishna, he can't preach. So he has to come down to the Madhyam Adhikari position. But that does not mean that his spiritual position is diminished. He's still Uttama Adhikari. But Uttama Adhikari preaches to the innocent and avoids the demons. So it's offense to the holy name to preach to the faithless. If someone doesn't want to hear about devotional service, we shouldn't try to preach to them. We should avoid them. But the innocent, many people are innocent, haven't heard about devotional service, haven't heard about Krishna consciousness. Those people we should preach to. So today is the beginning of Purushottam Mas. There was one person one modern devotee lady. She was unhappy, so she went to Lord Vishnu because she was this month, but she was not. She was considered contaminated, like stool. This month was considered like stool. So she went to Lord Vishnu and said, "What should I do?" So Lord Vishnu took her to Lord Krishna, and she was crying, and Krishna said, "Why are you crying? You're in Golok. Why are you crying?" She said, "Because I'm considered a bad month." So Krishna said, "From now on, you'll be the best of all months." So Purushottam is considered the best of all months. It says it's 16 times more greater than even Kartik month. So Purushottam is starting today, and this small book you can purchase in the gift shop here. And I'm not going to read the whole book, but it does say that you should do 3 things. You should bathe in the holy river, worship Krishna by chanting his holy name, and giving in charity. These things we can do very easily. And also, it says this Purushottam is the best of all months. It is best of all kinds of vrat and austerities. Even if one just hears the glories of Purushottam faithfully, he will achieve devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all his sinful reactions will be immediately nullified. One who performs Purushottam Vrat and worships Purushottam month properly will achieve unlimited merit and thus attain Golok. So we can treat this month like Kartik. If you want to do different kinds of vrat, that's up to the individual persons, but at least we should try to increase our chanting and hearing and chanting. We should try not to tell any lies. We should try to absorb ourselves in devotional service. We should avoid any kind of Gramya Kata. This Lord Chaitanya told Rupa Raghunath Das Goswami 3 things. You should not dress opulently, you should not eat opulent food, and you should not hear Gramya Kata, or this village talk, or this mundane sound vibrations. Of course, there's no injunction in reading the newspaper once in a while, and we shouldn't do that as a as a regular function, because we shouldn't want to hear about the mundane, what's going on in the mundane world. We shouldn't be so much interested in hearing these things. When we give Srimad Bhagavatam class, people have a tendency to fall asleep, but when there's news, some news comes, something happened, earthquake or tornado or cyclone or this or that disaster, and we immediately perk up. We want to hear this. But this, we should want to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So for everyone, I recommend that we try to read all of Prabhupada's books, starting with Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, to the 12th canto, Chaitanya Charitamrita. We also have Chaitanya Bhagavat and many other books. We should spend our time hearing and chanting. It says 24 hours a day. Once you hear, chant, remember name, form, qualities, Supreme Personality, Godhead. And the 5 of the 64 items of devotional service, 5 most important items are living in the holy Dham, worshiping the deity, chanting Hare Krishna, associating with devotees, and what's the fifth one? Here's Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should do this on a regular basis every day. We should come for Mangalarti, every day Guru Puja class. In this way, practice Vaidhi Bhakti and try to advance to the stage of anartha nivritti, or give up all the anarthas in the heart. Lord Chaitanya said, Nanajan, Sundarin, Kavicharvadi, Yagad Ishwari, Mama Jamani, Jamani Ishwari, Bhagavad Bhakti, Haitiki Twai. This is the level of advanced level of anartha nivritti. We should not desire to have a beautiful wife. We should not desire to have lots of money, accumulate wealth, and we should not desire to have many followers or name and fame. Pratishta. There's the gross sex life, and there's the subtle sex life. It's called pratishta, wanting name and fame, adoration, name and fame. So we should always be in a humble state of mind, always ready to offer respects to everyone. In this way, we can chant the holy name 24 hours a day. So this is the conclusion here, that one should be the servant of the servant of the servant. It says it 3 times, and Makul, King Kul, etc., also said in his book 7 times. He said one should be the servant of 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 the servant. So we should never think that I am better than anyone else and that I'm too good to serve anyone. We should all serve the Vaishnavas as best we can in any whatever capacity we have, and this way become Krishna conscious. So now I have service to do, so I can't entertain any questions. So, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.